Welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk. Thank you for the grand introduction, Pat. You must be very excited that we are here for 2 hours.
You must have a lot of people in your studio.
We have a few more since the last hour. We have added a couple, and this is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. If you've never chimed in before, welcome. We just had another hour. It felt so weird rolling one live hour into the next. I've done a couple back-to-back, but they were always like pre-recorded, airing at different times. So.
Nothing felt weird about that.
This was fun.
It felt natural.
I loved it, though. It was a little different.
So you do 5 days a week, 2 hours a day?
Yeah, you can just keep talking, Pat says. Just keep talking. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk. This is our next hour, our 9 o'clock hour, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. Want to introduce our lovely guest for the day, and Mr. Leo Kane, my sidekick, and with the Barrel Engineering and Inspection. Thank you to all of you guys in this room, because without you, Tampa Home Talk would not be possible. Mr. Ty Swinson with Swinson Construction, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
First time ever with me here in the studio, so I'm glad to have you as a guest.
Glad to be here.
And Mr. Adam, welcome back with Tele Insurance.
Hey, good morning, Katrina.
And we're glad you're here. We're glad you're back. So you'll have a little bit to chime in on today's show as well, right?
Oh yeah, I have some good tidbits, I think.
So I just that'll probably be the last week that you hear the intro that you heard coming into Tampa Home Talk. I've had the intro for 5 years, so that's why it says for more than 23 years. So don't be surprised when we come back and it says like almost 30 years, because we're at like 28 now.
How is that possible? You're only like 29.
I know. Thank you, Leo.
Let's keep the round of applause, though. I really like the confidence boost when we're talking. That's a good one. Yeah, but you can't have that on the video, though, because that would just be like static.
I'll tell you a cool little tidbit. A guy named James Hope, which he does a show in the Philadelphia market. He's the one that did the intro for my show, so that's whose voice you hear. You guys never asked me that, and now you know.
I just assumed it was somebody over at Beasley that had a good, it was 23 years ago, so I just assumed it was Pat.
No, it was not that. So welcome. And so we're going to talk about some of the things you wouldn't know, and you might not even pay attention to this unless you're ready to sell your home, right? Because that's when all these things come up. That's when you guys have to deal with it. But we're going to talk a little bit about the open building permits, some of these hidden horrors that can just be ridiculous to deal with. So taking these extra precautionary measures, it's important when it comes to buying or selling a home. And so our people, we pay attention to these things. So if we go in and there's an addition and it's different than, what's in public records, we're going to be talking about that early on, because we can't just add square footage to what comes over in public records. So we want to make sure everything's up to par with building codes, building permits. All these have been closed, and it's interesting because we've had this on-again, off-again relationship with title and checking for open building permits and closed permits and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite possible you could have bought a home with open permits and didn't even know it. It happened a lot, right, in the peak of the market.
Yeah, I mean, during this hour, we're going to go for the horror story, because if it's a simple thing where it's just it's an existing permit, something small, work was done correctly, we just close that out with an engineering affidavit or a permit letter. The reason why we have Ty here, though, he's a general contractor. It's when the work wasn't done correctly, or you're dealing with an addition that was built to a wrong building code. That's when the general contractor needs to step in, and they need to actually redo the work to bring it to where it needs to be.
So, real sidebar, real quick, and we'll plan this for another day, but you and I had an inspection earlier in the week, right? Frame built home, and Leo and I had a conversation about it. There was some stucco cracking at the bottom of the house, and I'm like, what's the dealio with this? Like, how serious is this? Because it doesn't look good.
I mean, everyone's like stair-step crack, vertical cracked, horizontal cracks. The scariest crack to me is when it's 8 inches off the ground and it's horizontal. That is foundation failure. I don't care if it's a frame house, if it's a block house. That is your foundation that's in the ground, and what you see above the ground are separating.
So what's important about a foundational crack that makes you be like, ooh, that's the scariest one?
Well, if the structure is compromised and the structure is shifting because it's no longer attached to the ground, that becomes a concern.
Falls over like a house of cards? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't. Nothing happens that fast until you hit what we call the point of elasticity. So it's like a rubber band. You stretch it, and it goes back to normal. And you stretch it, it goes back to normal. You stretch a little further, and then it kind of is warped. And then you stretch it to a certain point, and it breaks. Where you're at, where that horizontal crack appears, is where you've stretched it, and it doesn't quite go back to normal. So over time, yeah, you stretch it, and it'll break. But normally, you can bring a company like Ty from Swinson Construction out there to do the repairs. But yeah, on a frame home, let's talk about that for a second. We have a frame home. We don't know what kind of framing damage we have because it's covered by stucco. We can see the stucco bulging. We can see in the inside the floor is separating from the floorboards. We've got ceiling cracks. We've got separation at the wall to ceiling. As a general contractor, what would you do to try and figure out the extent of that damage?
Before you jump into that, let me just add something really quick. So, remember, you and I were talking about that, and we're like, so how did it get like this? Like, what's the cause of it? And so your response, which I just want to chime in on before Ty answers a question, is you said there was a roof leak, and likely what happened is the water came down the walls and the 2x4s, expanded those 2x4s, cracked the stucco on the outside, and that's where a lot of your interior foundation, all that stuff is caused. So just to put, for the person listening, to put a little bit of framework around what that is we're talking about and how the house even got in that condition.
Okay,
right?
choice of words, framework. I like that. Yeah.
So,
First thing we would do would have someone call an engineer so we can get a correct diagnosis on how to fix everything.
this is a side-by-side job for you guys, right?
Sure.
So, and in this particular instance,
We would need him for the destructive testing to tell how bad the framing damage is.
so, and as an agent, right, in that scenario, we were talking about that, I'm like, well, how would you know how bad the damage is? And that was a pretty complex answer that you gave.
Yeah, there's never, that's one of the questions I always get, how much is this going to cost? And you never know because it's all hidden behind something. So once you start peeling layers away, that's when the cash register starts ringing. Every time you peel something away and something else needs to be replaced, the price keeps going up and up.
So just to do this destructive testing, right, which by the way, if you're a buyer and you're buying a home, you have to get permission from the seller to do this because it's their home. But it takes the two of these gentlemen side by side to go in and really figure out what's going on. And I would imagine this additional inspection, you're looking at what, $1,000, $1,500 between the two of you, because you got to think you're ripping stucco off the wall, you got to put it back, you got to have somebody like you to come in, see what's going on there and then report it.
Yeah, it's definitely a high-ticket inspection for sure.
But it's valid, right? Because you want to know what's in there. I wouldn't want to buy a home without knowing more about what's there.
Yeah, I'm not buying a home without a home inspection and all that stuff before, I get somebody else involved. I want to make sure that things sound good to go.
Here's what we tell our buyers when they complain about, spending $500 on an inspection. We're like, this is your insurance policy to make sure you're getting a good house.
Speaking
Right?
speaking of
As the
insurance,
insurance guy,
speaking of insurance, if in a situation like that, from a real estate perspective, you're probably looking at a cash buyer because it might be uninsurable depending on the extent of that damage.
So,
Well, it'll pass a 4-point though. That's the trick though. Well, a 4-point, yes. However, when you start asking the underwriting questions, they all ask about settling, cracking, anything else like that. You can go ahead and lie on it. But the appraiser catch that. But when a home that has that type of damage probably isn't new enough that they're just not going to do their own inspection. So when they go do their own inspection, you're buying yourself time basically, but they'll cancel you anyways because.
there's no insurance companies that will insure without those inspections? There's some, right? Insurance companies?
Not the inspections that they're doing. I'm talking about when we rent a home, any home basically over 15 years, almost every carrier we have
That's what I'm asking,
is going to
yeah.
do their own inspection.
So do you have any carriers that don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Citizens is going to go all the way through, and if you lie on that application question, they might not cover you if something did come up.
They don't want to cover anything anyway, so you better not lie about anything.
And that's not catastrophic ground cover collapse if something does happen because it's not sudden.
Yeah,
It's not earth movement.
So I got an interesting question, probably for when we come back from the break, but it's how do you, let's say you've taken the stucco off, you see the framing damage, now you've got to rebuild, let's say, 20 feet of wall section. How do you protect the inside of the home, because the home is going to have stuff in it, and secure that an active construction site on someone's home with an old exposure?
Ooh, that's going to be a great question.
That's a great
We are going
question.
to talk about that. As soon as we come back after the break, give Ty just a couple minutes to gather all those thoughts and give you those answers. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Maybe you got some of this stuff going on and you want Ty to come check it out. Call or text us at 813-377-2775. We'll get you guys connected and get you some answers. 813-377-2775. We'll be back right after this break.
I love Pat's ability to find music for any and all situations.
He played it right over you.
That was just awesome. So let's go back to, you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. This is middle of our second hour. Do not forget, but our off-air number at 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. But let's just jump right back in.
You have a microphone in front of your face. That'd be awful.
Oh, no, I have a microphone in front of my
No,
face.
like a stand.
No, it moves with me.
Yeah, that mic.
It moves with me. Let's go jump back into the
Go back to the question. Ask for the question. Ask again.
I've heard the question.
Really?
You gave the sidebar after
It's
my
your question.
What does Ty do after... Oh, yes, I remember now. Yeah, it was like a lifetime ago.
How to keep someone's house from being a mess while
You're doing construction when you're having to rebuild a wall for a room.
The easiest way is to just build like a dust containment, inside, give yourself enough room to work, but then,
A dust containment unit?
like
That sounds a little bit like Ghostbusters, doesn't it?
No, it's pretty easy, actually. They're pretty cheap now. You can probably buy them at Home Depot. They kind of zip up.
What does that look like? I've never seen
Plastic.
it.
Big plastic
So this
tent,
can-
basically, that red tape. Yeah, you tape it to the wall, and you contain your mess in there. Some people, I've had jobs where people didn't want anything taped to the wall, and then they just complained about dust for months afterwards.
And you got to tape over the grills for the AC so you don't get them in your AC.
Everything. Yeah.
I did that like one time. Like had tile done and stuff in my house without yeah, that'll never happen
Yeah,
again.
tile work is very dusty.
Never.
I've made that mistake as well.
So, it's interesting. We're talking about the open or expired permits, and ironically enough, like pole enclosures, roofs, those are always the ones that are open or expired. Why?
Because those people go out of business, and then you have to chase them down for a very long time to close out these permits.
And then if they're gone, that's where you come in, right, Leo?
Yeah, basically, to close out a permit, you need an engineering action. In fact, we take the place of the building department during those inspections. So if Ty's company had missed an inspection because the inspector couldn't get there, I've had it before where the tile was freshly cleaned, so the plumbing inspector doesn't walk inside to do their final plumbing because they don't want to slip. Then Ty's company will need to hire an engineer to go do that inspection in lieu of the city to get the permit closed out.
Right, because they don't want the liability on it. So the inability to sell a house, and how can open permits prevent me from selling my house? You got a great example here pulled from Monroe County, because it's often assumed that closing open building permits is as simple as signing a few papers, right? But that's just not the case, is it?
It often is that simple.
For you it is, but not, you have to be an engineer. So what about Joe Harris in Monroe County? Do you know anything about that?
When Joe decided to sell his Key Largo home, he discovered there were electrical and roof permits still open on his house. According to the Florida, what?
The Florida Keys News.
Both permits actually dated back to 2004, which was before Joe bought the house. That's one of the things, though. All the counties are automating their systems as of 2015, so we get a lot of people still. I've been in my house for 4 years. I've been in my house for 5 years. I didn't know I had an expired permit. Why wasn't it found back then? It's just all this information wasn't automated. It's automated all the way back to 1995 now.
Well, here's the thing, once that happens, it's the homeowner's liability and responsibility to open that, investigate it, and get it figured out. So fortunately for him, they were able to close the deal and sell the house in 2014, but he stated that the open building permits delayed him selling the property.
Well, it's scary for the buyers.
That can get dicey too, right? Because of insurance and flood and all that fun stuff down there.
Well, that kind of goes into my 2-minute tip of the week.
That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah, so my tip of the week this week was, if you're going to go buy a home,
do a simple permit search. Like if you're in Pinellas County, it's right on the property appraiser's website. Hillsborough County has their own website.
In all fairness, Adam, for us, that's
Right.
really simple because we know where to look and we do it all the time, but it's not that simple
That's
for the
true.
average person looking. They're like, where? Like it's a glaze over.
Right. Well, and we're in the industry, obviously,
Right.
but that's why it's a tip.
Why important to have a great team, a great
absolutely.
insurance agent, a great home inspector, a great general contractor, a great real estate agent that knows to look this stuff up.
Because you could go, we could have Leo go and do an inspection and say, okay, the roof is maybe between, 5 and 8 years old. But if we don't have a permit, most of the insurance carriers, if we don't have a permit, they're not going to give you credit for having a 5 or 6 year old roof.
So let's talk about what you're doing in that scenario. Let's say it's a 5 or 6 year old roof, but there's no records.
Well, there's, it depends on the carrier, but one, they're going to take off all your FBC credits.
What's FBC credit?
So that's the Florida Building Code. So if it's built after 2004, you get a credit for, it being built up to a certain code, a certain standard. So they're going to remove that, which, I've seen could cause $1,000 increase on your premium.
So it could be double premium.
It could be
right
double
away.
premium. They could cancel you because they can't prove that your roof is 5 years old, so they're going to assume it's 35 years old when the last permit was pulled.
So
There's a lot of things.
are your insurance remediating that? Are you taking...
So it depends on the situation. I did have one where they said, okay, we will accept it, but you need to get an engineer to go out there and say, basically what he was saying about going back in when the city didn't do it, you need to have an engineer go out there and put, basically their stamp on it, their name behind it that says, yes, this roof is 5 years old, it's up to code, blah, 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 blah.
And if you're going to do that, you might as well spend the extra money to hire a ties company to go out there, do their own inspection, verify it, and
Yeah, that's
file
what I was
before
going to
and
ask.
after the fact.
Yeah, so
Right.
in that scenario, what are you looking for? Do you have to pull back shingles and stuff?
Yeah, you want to make sure the nail pattern's correct and, any damaged wood was replaced, that kind of thing. A lot of times when people don't pull a permit, it's because they're trying to hide something. So you definitely want to take a really good look at it.
I just don't understand it. I mean, you can even pull a homeowner's permit.
Yeah, I prefer not to get involved when you can tell that something's trying to be covered up. That's when I kind of tell them I'm not interested in helping out on that kind of
And
deal.
that also, that can also go to doing your own repairs. Let's say you have a shingle or two that comes up, I'll just go to Home Depot, I know how a hammer works. He goes up there and does an inspection, and all of a sudden, 95% of the roof looks great, but the 5% that looks like an amateur did it, and now you have a big issue.
And even if you're good at it, I would always, especially some of these like electrical, HVAC, plumbing, like roofing, don't try to tackle those things on your own. Like you're just asking for trouble if you're not licensed for that trade.
What if you have a friend?
We see it so much and it's just not good.
I had a great one. I was in a trailer, not a trailer park, a mobile home park for the elderly. Manufactured. And as a retirement project, he decided to take part of the floater room and make a bathroom. So, yeah.
So he drilled holes under the floor?
So he added plumbing, he added electrical, he used S-traps for his plumbing, which you're not allowed to do. He was ungrounded in one outlet, grounded reversed on the other, and like everything was wrong in this bathroom. And I just walked in there, I'm like, there shouldn't be a bathroom here. And then the lady's telling me the story about his retirement project. I'm like, this whole bathroom needs to be rebuilt. Yeah, that didn't go over well either. I just had one of those weeks.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too, and it's not just you guys. Like you got to think if you're not paying cash and you're getting a loan, the likelihood of the appraiser catching this stuff is really good, and they are going to report it. Not like report it to the county, but they're going to report it on their appraisal. They're going to bring that issue to the lender, and it can affect the value. So, I mean, I had one that was a full-on addition. It was one of my agents that was in the field, and they're like, and the appraiser knew me, and he calls me, he goes, hey, what's the dealio with this? Like, why are you even taking this? I know you and the agent. And I go, well, tell me about the property, because I actually didn't see that one. And then I went online, looked at the pictures in the MLS, look at the tax roll, saw what he said, what he was saying, and I'm like, well, yeah, you got to praise it for what it is. Like, if it looks like a duck and acts like a duck, it's a duck. Appraise it for what it is. So then what happened was that it significantly brought the value down on that property because they can only count heated. They basically count it as a porch.
And funny thing on that, the opposite happens with insurance. So, if I'm looking at the property appraiser website, it tells me it's a porch. You basically redid the entire porch to be your new, living room or whatever. I do my replacement cost estimator like we were talking about a few weeks ago, like it's a porch, because I don't see anything. Zillow's limited sometimes. And then the underwriter comes in after the fact, after they do their own inspection, he goes, we got to jack this up $50,000 because it's a full room. It's not a porch anymore, which changes everything.
Well, from a construction aspect, Ty, you can probably chime in on this. Like, what are some of the dangers? Because, I mean, just the little bit of stuff I know, and I'm not a GC, I know the footers are not the same as it is for the house, right?
Oh,
If you're
absolutely.
enclosing the porch.
A lot of times the framing underneath isn't, if it's up on a stem wall or something, the framing underneath isn't what it needs to be to have everyday use on it. It's for coming and going. That's about it.
So maybe we can talk about that after the break. Like, what happens if the person listening or someone before you bought the home enclosed this porch that was built as a porch, so it doesn't have the same footer or flooring that your main house does. Let's talk about some of the problems that addition could encounter by being an enclosed addition that wasn't planned to be that way. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. We'll talk about that when we come back right after the break, and we're going to get some frequently asked questions that Ty gets all the time on some of these things. Again, if you want to reach myself, Leo, Ty, Adam, or any of our other guests, we're happy to get you connected. 813-377-2775, and you can call or text that number. We'll be back right after this break.
Good one, Pat. Good one. I don't know that song.
Oh, you don't know that one?
I don't know that one. What song was that?
The House is Falling Down by Hadoken.
Missed it.
Did you guys know that song?
That's my favorite group, Hadoken.
Not too many people I think know.
Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk.
Have you seen Hadoken live?
Oh, last week they were at they were the first group to perform at the Busch Gardens Wine Festival. I'm just kidding. I've never heard of that.
That's comedy.
I was like, you can't be serious.
I was like, I looked at the Busch Gardens calendar of events, and they have an awesome lineup every year, and I don't remember. I saw Michael Bolton at Busch Gardens. Michael Bolton. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
I saw Huey Lewis. Yeah, he was great.
No, he would be amazing. I'd go see him for sure.
That was just, they always have a good lineup, and the food is good, and the wine is good, and the construction is good, because they put up these little pagodas.
I haven't been in so long. I need to go.
They put up these little pagodas just for the wine fest. If you're going to go get one of the sampler pack tickets, it really makes it worth your while.
How much is that?
If you're an annual pass member, you can get 12 for like $50.
And there's no reason not to be an annual pass member, because it's like $10 extra and going in for one day.
Haven't been.
Now, what do you like better? Do you like the Busch Gardens, or do you like the Epcot?
Oh, definitely like Busch Gardens. I feel like when I go to Epcot, I have to go to a restaurant to get full, and it's like Disney's cruise shipping me, because they're like, here's tuna on a piece of rice, here's tuna in a taco, here's tuna on a piece of flatbread, and they're trying to sell me it's different things, but it's the same thing.
The only theme park you left out was SeaWorld. Don't talk about that one, too.
Like SeaWorld's just
Did
like
they
Busch
do that?
Gardens.
Did they do
You
any
can't
of-
eat the tuna at SeaWorld. It's
Yeah.
swimming in front of you.
Really?
SeaWorld's in the
Gotta go
Busch Gardens
there.
family. We do need to give love to Universal. Universal's great.
There you go.
Now we've covered everybody.
No, Tampa Aquarium.
Ooh.
Well, they Flood Aquarium, which actually, with their new manatee viewing center down and the sea turtle rehabilitation down in Gibsonton, we are making leaps and strides. I say we because I'm a big donor of them. But for the Florida Aquarium, we're like one of the world's best aquariums now. And we're heading up, we're like top in coral growth, coral farms.
We're
and
going to
stuff
be like
that.
right there on the radar with the San Diego Zoo. Like, we're going to be up there in terms of aquarium.
Last little side trick. You're not going to talk before we go back to Ty. If you're a Bank of America member, you can go the first weekend of the month for free.
To Busch, which place? Busch Gardens?
To the aquarium, and a couple other museums.
No deal.
And the best part about going to the aquarium is if you're an annual pass member for the aquarium, you can kill time in the aquarium while you're waiting for the ferry to go from Tampa to downtown St. Pete.
Isn't that cool? I just found out about that, like, at the work.
I love it. I take my bikes, so I'll actually go to the aquarium, I'll lock up my bikes, then go on the ferry.
Why do you lock them up at?
They have like bike places
They
to
do?
lock up. Yeah, bike rack. And then we take our bikes to St. Pete, brewery hop,
See?
go back on the ferry, and then head home. It's just
Well,
the
at least it's 13 today. We'll be empty nesters soon, and we'll be joining you.
awesome.
But the last 2 or 3 minutes, we've been all over Central Florida.
I know. All right. Let's go back to the topic. We're talking about open building permits, how some of this stuff can just kill you when you go to sell. And the question for Ty was, what happens? And we see this, right, quite a bit, where like the owner that did it now didn't do it. It was maybe 1, even 2 owners ago. But they've got this. There's a screen room, right, or a porch, and they've made this whole thing living space with air conditioning and drywall and all this stuff. So Ty, what's some of the downsides when people do this?
A lot of times we see is the outsides weren't properly done, and you just nothing but damage on the inside. The water gets in behind the walls, and then it gets down on the floor, and so it's just a trampoline effect where it just keeps exploding once you start looking at it.
Well, if you get water and stuff behind the walls, that's an invitation for mold and like all kinds of stuff. So we tell people water, unfortunately, is not your house's friend. Like, we need it to live, but your house doesn't. It's not good for them. Good for it, I should say. So, again, your most pain point question is, why can't you tell me how much this will cost?
I get that every single time I get a question about an open permit. They say, how much is it going to cost? And I say, I can't really tell you that.
Is there a range or an idea where you start?
I don't even try to start there. I just tell them, I say, listen, we'll do a trip fee to come out and open up a wall for you, and then we can go from there. And if, as it can just keep expanding and expanding.
So the trip fee to open the wall, does that include also putting the wall back?
No, that would temporary.
That's a wall with fee.
That would be in the estimate to repair whatever behind it. You don't want to just cover it right back up, because you're going to have to open it up again to repair what's behind it.
Can't the inspector just come see it?
Yeah, but if they're there, they can see it. But if it's something that needs a permit, then you have to go to permitting, things like that.
Great. Once you're there, we can close tomorrow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. once you go into the permit office, you're good to close. Yeah, right now,
we counter after the fact permits all the time.
We get a lot. Why do we need an engineer?
Oh, yeah, I get that. Every time I say engineer, why do we need an engineer?
Why do you need Leo?
I sadly, I would ask the same question, why do we need an engineer? I'm a field engineer, and I know some of our desk engineers don't know anything about field construction, so when a general contractor tells me I want to build it this way, if it meets building code, we design it that way. So as an engineer, I'm in the camp of, why do you need an engineer? Some of these general contractors are more knowledgeable than a lot of the engineers out there at design.
I think maybe the engineering lobby is a lot stronger than the general contractor lobby. Maybe that could be it.
Could be.
Do you disagree with my statement?
No, but at the same time, everyone's now with how crazy lawsuits are. Everyone wants to CYA, so I want to pass the buck on to you, and you probably want to pass the buck to me. So that's basically how it all works.
Other than the contractors like going out of business, disappearing, whatever, why don't they close out the permits?
Like for instance, today I woke up and I checked my email before I leave the house, and I see an email from Hillsborough County that we have a permit expiring. Well, these people have been living in my house for 4 months, so I sent it over to the office, and so they could check on it while I'm here. And I checked my email in between breaks, and it was a simple. The county didn't record the termite certification. Mm-hmm. So then something like that happens, and you have to pay to reopen the permit. Then you got to track down the termite. Yeah,
But there's no cost to close it, right?
There's no cost to close it unless it expires, and then you have to reopen it, and there's actually extra fees when you let a permit expire and then reopen it.
So how long are they good for before they expire?
180 days.
Is that every county municipality?
More or less. Some of the smaller ones may have some tricky rules, but the bigger ones are all typically 180 days.
It's so interesting because we, frequent Tennessee a lot, and there's like no building time there.
Oh yeah,
it's so lackadaisy.
There's some areas like in the country where you don't even have a building department. You just build whatever you want. It's crazy in some of these small towns and things like that.
So it looks like we will have time to talk about that being the 50 rule. Want to talk about that?
We have to talk about it. It is the biggest headache for an engineer and the biggest dollar sign increase for a contractor.
So let's talk about that big headache, right? We'll go back to our screen porch enclosure analogy.
Yeah, let's say it's in a flood zone, and let's just say that to fix it, let's just say the house, let's keep things simple. The house is a manufactured home. The house
Of course, that's simple.
The house itself is only worth $50,000, and the enclosure is going to cost more than 50% of that $50,000. 25. So now what has to happen?
Now it has to go above the floodplain to be able to bring it up to.
Why would it be $25,000 to repair it? What would go into that?
It must be really messed up underneath, and that's something an engineer would have to tell me.
Foundation?
Let's just say the roof was done wrong, so you got to redo the whole roof, and it was a metal roof. Let's just go there on price. Let's say that it was framed and they used 1x2s instead of 2x6s. So let's just say you have to redo all that and you have to repair the footer. Let's just say the combination of those three things will get you above 25 theoretically.
Easily, yeah.
Just theoretically. And let's also say at this house you've got your AC mounted on the ground, you've got your electrical outlets that are at normal height, which is about 8 inches off the ground, and you're in a floodplain, so back to time.
Yeah, that's, if you're a realtor, tell your customer to run very fast in the other direction. And if they want you to list it, you should also run fast in the other direction.
But what if you're the homeowner?
I guess you could still run fast.
Yeah,
Just let Adam know before you leave, the house is going to be vacant, okay?
fix it up as best you can and rent it out. I would probably tell them would be the best bet, especially if it's a manufactured home. I mean, it's different if it's a, I'll tell you how I came across the FEMA 50 rule. Very early on, we were doing a bunch of rehab work for a lot of the invitation homes and those folks that were coming in and buying and renting out. And we had done a whole estimate on a house in South Tampa. And it was like $180,000 to get it back up to where they wanted it so they could turn around and sell it. And we go in to file for permitting, and they're like, you can do about $60,000 worth of work.
That was based on assessed value?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we go back to them, and it's not going to work. I mean, they had to do this amount of work to be able to sell it to get their money out of it. So we ended up being the nice people we are, and we did enough volume with them where we had to do it at cost. And, we had to move things around to things that didn't need permitting. You can actually do it without the 50% rule. So like painting, floor coverings, things like that you can do without the 50% rule. So we had to move things around and, get it pared all the way down so these guys wouldn't lose all their money on this house. And now the first thing we do in our office, if someone's looking to remodel, is we go on and make sure what flood zone they're in, what the FEMA 50% is on that job, and if there's any permits within the last 12 months, they include that as well. So if you had an AC for $7,000, that $7,000 is coming off your 50%.
How do you verify that? Are you just looking at the value on the tax records, or is there anywhere else you're looking for that
No,
information?
it's straight on the assessed value of the
Okay.
property appraiser's website.
So it is straight off of there. So that could go, well, yeah, I mean,
And you can get us, but we talked about this
the tax
before.
rating with homestead exemption we were talking about. If your cap's super low, that's going to make that number really low.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what helps us is I tell people is get a knowledgeable contractor, because we know to look for that, and we know what we can put on the permit and what we can keep off the permit, so we can get closer to that line if you're above it, things like that.
Or do, I hate to say the bare minimum, but do what you need to do in order to bring that property up to par and try to keep within those limits.
Sure.
So what about the next time around? Like, does that modify anything when you change the assessed value?
Yeah, I mean, as the assessed value goes up, your number goes up, but I mean...
So when we come back after the break, I'll give you a cool little tip. Adam probably knows this about insurance with regards to flood. We'll talk about that when we come back right after the break. 813-377-2775. Welcome Welcome back.
Obscure Music Hour?
Don't ask me what that is. I don't know.
Are you pulling your stuff from WMNF there? They're going into their indie archives there, Pat?
Hey, come on. You haven't heard of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band and House at Pooh Corner?
No.
No.
Welcome back. I'm Katrina Maidenbaum, your host of Tampa Home Talk. Joining me this hour is Leo King with Bureau Engineer and Inspection, and Ty Swinson with Swinson Construction, and Adam Talley with Talley Insurance. And we've had a great topic and show and conversation about open, non-closed, building permits, all the FEMA 50 rules, a little bit off the sidebar, but really a great show so far. A lot of great information. All of our shows roll to a podcast. So if you missed any part of the hour and you want to figure out what the heck we're talking about, just go to Tampa Home Talk, and we post them there. You can also go to any podcast player, whether you're iTunes or
The one on YouTube's with the video, right?
on YouTube. Everything gets posted. Just search for Tampa Home Talk, and Facebook. We're pretty much everywhere. We stream live, all that jazz. So our off-air number, in case you want to reach us, is 813-377-2775. If you're like one of my customers and you're thinking about moving, or you're ready to move back out of the area, back to maybe where you came from, or upsize, downsize, right size, we can help you with that. 813-377-2775. And we're glad to have brought you some value even early this morning on the homestead exemption. So don't forget, today's March 1st. It's the last day to file for homestead exemption. That was last hour, but I thought we'd just bring it through to this hour.
Also, remember to vote March 5th. I don't care who you vote for.
City of Tampa, next
I'm
week.
not going to tell you who to vote for, but I am going to tell you to go vote.
Yes, always vote, always
Can't
vote.
complain if you don't vote.
All right, so let's talk about some of our listings that we have. All right. So, one of the ones is getting a total makeover, little revamp, relisted. 8801 Rustic Trail Court in Tampa. Amazing 5-bedroom, 2.5-bath, almost 2,900 square foot home with just $325. It's in a nice little golf area on a cul-de-sac, freshly painted, really great place. And then this one, we've got a couple like jaw-dropping homes. This is one of them, yes, 834 Viscount with a V, Street in Brandon, 5-bedroom, 3 baths, almost 3,500 square feet, $425. And that's in the gated community of La Colina. It's a really open floor plan, state-of-the-art, like everything, really beautiful home. And then also, if you're looking for some lakefront property, like skiable, boatable lakefront property, we got two of them. One's right in the heart of Tampa, right very near to Seminole Hard Rock Casino, easy access to the interstates and anywhere. Probably even catch some of that live music, right, at whatever the amphitheater is called now. But 5104 St. Charles Place in Tampa. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, really nice size, almost 2,300 square feet. It's only $350. It's got a pool, water access to the lake. Amazing, really beautiful home. That one got a lot of wow factor even from the stager when she walked in. She was like, wow, this place is great. And then we also have 9011 Oyster Shell Trail. Now this is a really big property. It's like 0.65 of an acre, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, almost 2,100 square feet for $350,000. Is a short sale skiable lake, really great property. And then Livingston, 1334 Livingston Road. It's a rental. 1-bedroom, 1-bath, $900 a month, really hard to come by. And then Moore Loop, 5952 Moore Loop, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 900 square foot, total investor special, $125. And then we've got some really great ones coming up soon, might be a little while before they come on, but Greeley Court's coming up. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, almost 1,500 square feet. Meadow Point area, just $225. That'll be a steal. And then 8620 Alafire Ridge Road in Riverview, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,400 square feet, $375, more than an acre. Amazing property, fully fenced, gated, room for all the toys. Like, I think it's got 3 carports, plus garage, plus like another bay, like a horse stall kind of bay, like so much place there. And then also, this one will be probably a good couple weeks before it's ready, but in Lake Padgett East, 23516, Bel Air Loop in Land O'Lakes, it's a 3-2, almost 1,500 square feet for $225. That one is stellar. Metal roof, on the water, really great property. Totally redone, kitchen's beautiful.
Love the metal roofs.
Yeah,
They're insurable for like 35 to 40 years. I have a metal roof. I love
When
it.
I redid my roof, I almost put metal on, but I'm like, it's going to look so funny on my house, so I didn't do it.
So to recap all of that, we've got a house with a metal roof, a barn for your pony on a skiable lake in a gated community. That's a steal.
We've got a lot of those and more. And if you're thinking of selling your home and you'd like to have it featured on Tampa Home Talk and you'd like to get some expert advice from me and my team, we can help you with that. We'd be honored to do so. And our operator number is 813-377-2775. If you're listening to the show and you need some help from Ty and Leo to close some of those open permits, or if you don't even know they're there, we can help you find them and they can help you close them. 813-377-2775. Any feedback there, Pat, from the Peanut Gallery? Any questions? I know sometimes you get some callers off air that ask stuff. Is he gone? He's gone, doing traffic on another station. 813-377-2775.
I miss the days where they put Pat in a helicopter.
I know. He loved that too. Like, I have to tell you the story. So he was telling me about how he was literally doing traffic up in the air, and his friend had a metal roof, and they would literally drop Skittles on the roof.
We threatened to drop.
Oh, he's back.
We threatened to drop a bowling ball.
And then Pat calls me like 2 or 3 months as we're talking about this house. He goes, "Hey, remember the Skittle roof house?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "They want to sell it."
Nice.
So we were honored to help them sell the house.
Was there a lot of Skittles trees in the yard for all the seeds they dropped on?
I don't know if Skittle damage is covered. I'd have to look at that. I can make it look like quarter-sized hail in a report, say it was hail damage. See, but they have all the technology now. They know when hail comes down. Well, yeah, but you have a hailstorm come through, and then the Skittle, we'd go out there and inspect, and we'd see the Skittle damage, which would be random like hail, and we call it hail damage. We just have to scrub off all the, the candy-coated paint. Oh, the ants take care of that.
We're exaggerating this a little bit.
People are surprised. People be surprised, but hail does really some damage to the ceramic tiles.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I have a question. It's a little bit off bar, but I was thinking about it, and now that Pat said it, I have to ask about it. So the metal roofs, don't they have the ones now that kind of look like the tile shingles? Like they're layered, you know what I'm
They
talking
do have
about?
some of those, and I saw it. I was at the Kitchen and Bath Conference in Vegas last week, and they had the Tesla tiles out there. Those things look really neat.
So what's the dealio with those?
They were solar, and they look like pretty much like a tile roof, and they're little tiny solar panels.
How much do you think they'll set you back?
They didn't have pricing on
Not
them, so
yet.
I'm sure
You have to ask, you can't afford it. But GAF has a nice solar package. It's basically the whole roof becomes one big skylight, and it's sealed, so it's not a raised solar panel. It is your roofing material as well, and I love the GAF solar panels.
Awesome. Well, we'll have more lined up for you next week. We'll be back at 8 o'clock next Friday. And we have Mr. Special Guest coming back, Mike Fasano, Pasco County Tax Collector. And we're going to be talking about exposing some of the shammers out there on the PACE program. I'm so excited that we'll have him back for this show. We'll talk more about it next week at 8 o'clock. Remember, love where you live, or we'll fix it. Welcome home. And you can get us at 813-377-2775, 377-2775. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye for now.